Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 12th of March, now it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my channel in which I share latest updates on the news that are making headlines in Russian media outlets and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There is quite a few very significant developments and news that I like to share with you for this moment, but before I start let me repeat myself and say that if you think that this channel is interesting, useful, has some potential and deserves to exist, please consider to support with small donation through PayPal or subscribe to my Patreon page. You will see links under this video in the description box. And when it comes to Patreon, I did share a new update a few hours ago. So I hope Patreon subscribers will find it interesting. I did talk in that update about Georgia and possible development in Georgia. I did spoke about PMC Wagner, little bit about situation with unemployment in Russia, and I did share some other topics, and I also did share information about my failed attempt to communicate with Russia Today, with RT. I was hoping that I can find job at RT, and I did write letter to one of the RT's journalists that also has a channel on YouTube, but I did not receive an answer. I did also try to communicate with the advertise department of Russia Today because I was thinking that my channel can be interesting platform for RT to advertise itself. After all, my channel is about news and political commentary, and RT is a media outlet, but they also ignore me. So yes, it was a total fail on my part, but that's life, man. Now when I know that I cannot work in RT, I will apply on vacancies that I will see from other media outlets, and who knows, I may find some full-time job. Otherwise, I will find some job anyway. Maybe not in journalism, but there are many warehouses that has some vacancies. So I will deal with this topic. So now let's talk about only worry is that yes, of course I can find some ordinary job. It will take maybe a week or two, and yes, I will find some job in some warehouse. But I'm afraid if I am forced to go to ordinary job, then how I'm gonna manage to maintain activity on the channel? That's what worries me, to be honest. So yeah, it is what it is, man. Let's talk about news now. So when I was planning this program, this update, I was thinking to start with this information here that I did share on my Telegram channel, according to which Russian side PMC Wagner units did establish full control over the Orekhovo-Vasilievka northwest side of Bakhmut. And let me show you on the map this area. And when I was planning to start recording this update, I did see updates on news outlets and Telegram channels with statements from head of PMC Wagner, Prigozhin, who said that information about Russian control over the Orekhovo-Vasilievka is incorrect, and the PMC Wagner units are not in full control over this settlement. And he even asked media outlets to be more careful when they are reporting about developments on the front lines. So I assume Orekhovo-Vasilievka, this settlement here, is under partial control of PMC Wagner units. It's only a matter of time, maybe even for tomorrow this settlement will become under full Russian control. Who knows, but let's wait how will situation develop. But overall, probably for subscribers to my channel, this information is not going to be surprised because this kind of development, because I was talking about it for a long time now. Since Russian side established control over the Verkhovka here and Yahidna, I was saying that next stage, probably, even though I'm not military expert, that was quite logical to me, that next step will be Dubovo-Vasilievka and then Orekhovo-Vasilievka to push forward in direction of Grigorievka and Bogdanovka here, which will allow Russian forces to basically start establish operational encirclement over the Chisov Yar. So that's the situation when it comes to north-west side of Bakhmut and Chisov Yar. When it comes to Bakhmut itself, we had reports, and this news is, I believe, is correct, because Prigozhin did not say anything to contradict this information. So during the night time, assault units of PMC Wagner that was already on the right bank of Bakhmutka river, they did manage to move forward, and now they are forward units of Wagner are around 600 meters from building of administration of Bakhmut in city center. So that's a quite an achievement, as I understand, because it does shows you that despite huge numbers of Ukrainian forces in Bakhmut that are trapped there, morale and battle readiness of Ukrainian forces are quite low, and PMC Wagner units are, quite easily. It's not the right word, but this is battle. But PMC Wagner units are able to, in short period of time, establish new positions moving forward. And as I understand, it's only a matter of 2 or 3 days, and we will see total collapse of Bakhmut garnison. Before end of next week, that's my prediction. Let's wait and see how it will develop. But my prediction is that before end of next week, Bakhmut garnison will collapse, and we will see hundreds and hundreds of POWs from that will surrender to Russian side, and we will probably see chaotic attempt of hundreds and hundreds of Ukrainian soldiers to flee Bakhmut in direction of Chisov Yar. But to be honest, I think best decision for them will be to surrender to Russian side, because this gap here is definitely not safe for Ukrainian forces, because everything is under Russian direct or fire control in this area, and if they try to flee Bakhmut in mass, they're gonna have huge casualties. So yes, let's continue now. Let's continue on. This is TASS News Agency, which is reporting that Krasnogorovka on the north side of Avdiivka is almost fully under Russian control now. And let me show you this settlement here. That's Avdiivka, quite a large settlement, quite a large town, and that's Krasnogorovka that TASS is talking about. So if this is true, let's take this information with pinch of salt, but after all, TASS is one of the main Russian news agencies, and they probably are checking information that they are reporting about. So if Krasnogorovka is under Russian control, And a few days ago, we had information that Vysyola, this settlement here, is also under Russian control. And today we learned that Kaminka, which is here, also under Russian control. Then we are having a situation when Avdiivka basically becoming in operational encirclement. If these informations are true, then Avdiivka is under operational encirclement already, because all the roads from Avdiivka to the north and the west side is under long-range Russian artillery fire at this stage. If this information is true, and that's quite a huge development, really, because I was thinking that Russian side will wait before a situation in Bakhmut and Chisugar will resolve, but it seems like Russian armed forces in this area are not waiting for nothing, and they may move forward. And basically, as I understand, they did establish operational control over the Avdiivka. So let's continue now. Let's continue, and we have RIA Novosti's report here that which is based on statements from officials from Zaporozhye region, Vladimir Rogov, according to which Ukrainian side, Zelensky's regime, basically sabotage perspectives to establish a security zone around the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant, and this is quite expectable. I didn't expect anything else from Zelensky's regime. Because just look at this, man. There are so many talks, isn't it, lately that Washington is pushing Zelensky to conduct some counteroffensive operation. London is pushing Zelensky. Macron openly are saying that France and UK are involved in preparation of Ukrainian forces to conduct some counteroffensive in the spring. Ukrainian officials are talking about spring counteroffensive. So if that's the case, and if Zelensky's regime is truly preparing for counteroffensive, which will take place in the direction of this land bridge, most definitely, which will take place in this direction, Energodar, Melitopol, Berdyansk, and then Mariupol. In that case, of course, Zelensky's regime will sabotage all attempts to establish some security control over the security zone over the Zaporozhye nuclear power plant and city of Energodar, let's say, because this nuclear power plant here, this red dot is above nuclear power plant. This nuclear power plant in vicinity of Energodar city, in close proximity from city. So no surprises, as I said. There, more than that, we have some more information that this is RIA Novosti reporting that Ukrainian side began to shell Novaya Kakhovka, and this is also, I was expecting this kind of development, because we have a dump in Novaya Kakhovka, this dump here, and as I understand, this is only way now for Ukrainian forces in Zaporozhye and Kherson region on right bank of these regions to cross the Dnieper River, or to cross this waterway, and move forward in direction of this land bridge. So it's obvious, it's very much expectable in my understanding that Ukrainian side will try now to, they will target Russian positions. They will try to target Russian positions in Novaya Kakhovka, in area of Novaya Kakhovka, to conduct some amphibious operations and establish some bridgeheads here. And they will they will try to establish control over the dam and the energo plant, energo facility here. so that they will have opportunity to move heavy military equipment in direction of this land bridge between Crimea and mainland Russia. And the offensive, if this so-called counteroffensive will take place from Zelensky's regime, one direction definitely will be from Kherson and Kryvyi Rog regions. And in that case, Ukrainian side just need to establish control over this dam here. Where is that? Nova Kakhovka. Yeah, that's it, man. Over this dam. And second direction will be, of course, from Zaporozhye region here. But yet again, I said many times before, and I hope, and I will repeat myself, that I hope Moscow will not give order to Russian forces to retreat from this area. And if that's the case, then there is no way, no chance that Ukrainians, Zelensky's regime will be able to succeed with this counteroffensive. No way. That's my take on it. So let's continue now. Let's continue. And we have a statement from head of ground forces of Ukraine, Alexander Syrsky, who said that for Ukrainian side, it's important to hold on to Bakhmut in preparation of counteroffensive, spring counteroffensive. Yet again, as I understand, Ukrainian generals are forced to make this kind of stupid statements because just a few days ago, after meeting with Zelensky, head of Ukrainian general staff Zaluzhny made a similar statement that Ukrainian forces will hold on to Bakhmut, and now this Syrsky is making similar statements that it's important to hold on Bakhmut, but in reality, what Ukrainian side is doing is sacrificing Bakhmut garnison for political purposes that Zelensky and his Western masters have, because they don't want to look as a losers in eyes of society, Ukrainian society and Western society, isn't it? Because they send so much money, they send so many weapons and ammunition to Zelensky's regime, and once Bakhmut will fail, of course, Western media will try to push propaganda that Bakhmut is not important and Bakhmut means nothing. That's what they usually do, isn't it? But for societies in the West and in Ukraine itself, questions will be, raised. What the hell is going on, isn't it? And that's why Syrsky is making these kind of statements, and Zaluzhny also. But yet again, as I understand, it's only a matter of week now, few days, maybe week, and Bakhmut garnison will collapse entirely. And before end of next week, we will probably see hundreds and hundreds of Ukrainian POWs that will surrender to Russian side, and we will probably also see desperate attempt of some units of garnison of Bakhmut to flee city in direction of Chizhov Yar, and that will be a huge mistake on their parts, because as I said many times before, this bridge between Bakhmut and Chizhov Yar, this land bridge is not safe for nobody from Ukrainian military side, and if they try to flee, they will be destroyed. Very few will reach Chizhov Yar, as I understand. So let's continue with news. There's too many news really that has some importance in my understanding. That's why I'm sharing it with you. So let's continue, and we have statement from so we have a statement about situation in direction of Krasny Liman, and military expert Andrei Marochko is saying that Ukrainian armed forces are now trying to build up some defense lines in direction of Krasny Liman. That's let me show you this direction. That's Krasny Liman. That's Seversk, that's Yampol, and that's Krasny Liman here. And it's also understandable that Zelensky's regime is trying to reinforce Ukrainian units here in this direction, because once Bakhmut will fall under Russian control and Chasiv Yar will not hold for long, Chasiv Yar also, next stage obviously will be Seversk, along with Avdiivka. And I believe Russian side will try to conduct operations not just in direction of Seversk itself, but Russian side will conduct operations in direction of Krasny Liman and Yampol, and entire this area will become one big cauldron for Ukrainian forces. And this is a very important direction, because after Seversk, after situation with Seversk and Bakhmut will be resolved and Chasiv Yar, it's only Kramatorsk-Slavyansk defense line left. And then the Dnieper River. So we are nearing in to the some crucial points in this conflict. We are closing in to some crucial, most important battles in this conflict. Let's continue. This is quite interesting news. Yesterday afternoon, Russian media outlets and Telegram channels did report that Zelensky's regime is digging in all the way next to border with Moldova. And I was thinking, what is going on? Why they are doing this? And in my opinion, what is happening is that, and they are digging some huge trenches, as you can see here, like 2-meter wide trenches next to border of Moldova. And in my opinion, what is happening is that if Zelensky's regime is truly planning to attack Transnistria, together with cooperation of current Moldovan government, then it's obvious that Russian side may try to conduct some amphibious assault in this direction here to reach Transnistria, and same time few thousand Russian peacekeepers that are based in Transnistria may try to conduct offensive operation to meet up with the Russian amphibious forces. So that's why Zelensky's regime probably is digging those trenches to somehow slow down advances of Russian forces from Transnistria. Possibly, that's my guess. I'm not there. I don't see with my own eyes what is happening, but probably what they are trying to do is that they are digging those trenches because they know that Russian side will be forced to conduct some marine operation, and Russian military contingent in Transnistria will probably try to conduct offensive to meet Russian amphibious forces and establish land bridge from Black Sea to Transnistria. So let's see how situation will develop. But this information that they are digging some trenches definitely talks about possibility that Zelensky's regime truly are planning to conduct some provocation in the direction of Transnistria, in cooperation with the current Western-controlled and extremely anti-Russian leadership of Moldova. So let's see how the situation will develop there. Let's continue now. Let's continue. How long is this video? 25 minutes. Okay. So this is TASS News Agency's reporting about plans to increase defense spendings, about plans of Zelensky's regime to increase defense spending about $13.61 billion. So this is basically US taxpayers' money, isn't it? So Zelensky increasing defense budget, and who pays for this? US taxpayers do, and European taxpayers do, which is, I mean, crazy, man. We are talking about billions and billions, but that's the reality that we are living in, So I don't know what amount from this 13 billion will reach Ukrainian militaries, but because most of it will be stolen by Zelensky and his henchmen. That's obvious. Some of this amount, of course, will be sent back to Western masters of Zelensky's regime, and this money will end up in some offshore accounts of Biden family and some other criminal elements that are in leadership of Western countries. But yet again, man, who pays for all of this craziness? Citizens of Western states, taxpayers, ordinary taxpayers are paying for this madness. Let's continue now. This is TASS News Agency, and we have reports about statements that Foreign Minister of Ukraine made, Dmitry Kuleba, about Western-made jet fighters, and he said that Kiev is not expecting Western jet fighters anytime soon. For Kiev now, important topic is to begin training of Ukrainian pilots in large numbers. And basically, when I see this information or this type of information about training of Ukrainian pilots and the rest of it, main thing is that my understanding is that this is some kind of deception campaign from Zelensky's regime and from Western elites and Western media outlets. This is some kind of deception campaign, because everyone understands that it's impossible to train pilots in 3, 6, 12 months or 18 months even. It's just impossible. You cannot do this. All the pilots are officers. You cannot take someone from the street and make him a fighter jet pilot in a year's time. Not in 3 or 6 months time, but even in a year's time. It takes years, man, 2 or 3 years at least, to become a combat-ready pilot. This is a simple truth. It's just obvious. It's obvious. There's nothing new here. But with these kind of statements, Zelensky's regime and Western elites and Western media is conducting deception campaign, because once Western jets will be introduced to the battlefield, and they will, in my understanding, in 6 to 8 months time, then Western elites and Western propaganda will have an opportunity to say that, we were training Ukrainian pilots for so long now that it's Ukrainian pilots that are working on these planes. That's why this is deception campaign, because in reality, of course, those Western jets will be piloted by NATO pilots, NATO member state pilots, and maintenance crew for those jet fighters also will be from NATO states. Because if they are talking about pilots, and they are so stupid that they did not even noticing that when they are talking about pilots, they almost never say anything about logistics stuff and about maintenance. Who will do maintenance for F-16? Let's say Ukraine do have staff to do some maintenance on Su-27, Su-25, MiG-29, for example, Soviet-made fighters. But when it comes to F-16, or when it comes to Swedish-made Saab planes, or Eurofighters, for example, or French-made Mirages or Rafales, let's say, Ukrainian has none of the specialists that will be able to do anything with those planes, isn't it? So it's clearly obvious that we are seeing deception campaign from Zelensky's regime and from the Western elites and the propaganda outlets, because it's obvious that when those jets, Western jets, will be introduced to battlefield, they will be piloted by Western pilots, and maintenance crew also will be from the NATO member states. And I'm quite sure those planes, whatever they will be, F-16s from USA, Norway, or some other countries, or French Mirage planes, or Swedish Saabs, whatever they will say whatever they will say that was delivered to Ukraine, those planes will operate not from Ukraine but from NATO member states that are bordering Ukraine. So yes, and that's a big deal, big issue, because Russia will be forced to react and destroy those airfields. So I did talk about this topic many times before, and there's no time to repeat myself, but yeah. Let's continue now. This is TASS News Agency, which is reporting that there are some massive demonstrations all over the Moldova right now, and the opposition is very active. This opposition is basically, and majority of society in Moldova basically wants nothing to do with the anti-Russian government of Moldova, anti-Russian president, Russophobic basically government and president, and they want changes, they want regime change basically. They want regime change, and if I was Russia, I will help these guys as much as I can to achieve regime change. Why only USA and Western elites are able to conduct some regime change operations? Russia should become more proactive in this matter also, in my understanding. And now we are seeing some huge demonstrations. There are some clashes between demonstrators and police, and who knows how will the situation develop. But as I understand, society of Moldova very well aware that if Moldova will be forced to become a part side in this conflict, then who will suffer? Those citizens of Moldova will suffer, isn't it? So they don't want this. They want to live in peace, and that's why they are demonstrating. And I hope they will be successful, and they will throw away these illegal, criminal bastards that capture power in Moldova. In my opinion, they are some criminals that are ruled by Western elites. So I hope Moldovan society will take care of it, throw them away, so that Moldova will be secure and Moldova will not become a side in this conflict, anti-Russian side especially. So let's continue. Oh, this is huge, man. This is huge. This information shows how far Zelensky's Nazi regime can go, man. So this is Kommersant newspaper reporting about developments in Kievo-Pechorskaya Lavra. That's a holy place for Orthodox Christianity. This is a complex of monastery complex. How you say it in English? So monastery complex. Yeah, this is monastery complex in Kiev, which has a huge meaning for Orthodox Christianity. And what Zelensky's Nazi regime did, they did capture this holy place, and they are forcing priests to flee, and they are basically acting like animals. They are acting like animals. I don't have any other words. They are robbing now, taking away all these icons and just everything that was in those churches and in that complex. And this is horrible, man. This is just horrible. Everyone that conducts are involved in this crime should be definitely punished, man. No matter how long it will take, but all of them should be punished because they crossed. This is not even red line, man. This is unbelievable sin, and they cannot be forgiven. No way. So everyone that involved in this sin should be punished severely, no matter how long it will take, because they are basically conducting. They're conducting special operation, military operation against church and against Orthodox Church, man. So that's an example for you how degraded those criminals and those Nazi animals are in Ukrainian elites. And Zelensky is part of it, of course. Let's continue now. And so we have LBK News reports here that China has new defense minister Li Shanfu, and this new defense minister known to be part of negotiations when China buy from Russia Su-35 fighter jets and S-400 air defense systems, and because of this involvement, he become under U.S. sanctions. So now this person is defense minister of China, new defense minister of China, and this is big deal because Li Shanfu has some experience working with Russian side. And that's maybe one more sign that China is preparing to become more active in terms of this conflict between Russia and the Western elites. And this is one more sign that China is getting ready to supply Russia with all the necessary military equipment and ammunition that Russia may need at this moment. So let's see how it will develop, but that's the reports that we are getting for now. Quite significant development in my opinion, because especially because this person Li Shanfu already had experience of work with the Russian side, and this is very important, especially now if China truly planning to become more active and become more helpful to Russia. Let's continue, and this is probably last news. No, three more news, and that's it. So we have RT's report. Yes, RT, come on, man. I was hoping to find job at RT, but I failed. But anyway, I will use RT as one of the sources. No hard feelings. let's say this way. So we have report here that more reports. I was talking about this stuff a week ago, if I remember correctly, and we have some more reports now that more and more banks and bankers in Swiss are expressing the fear that Chinese wealth will start exodus from Swiss banks, and I'm all for that, man. All for that. Swiss no longer can say that they are neutral. Swiss government cannot say that they are neutral. They did give re-export. They did allow NATO member states to re-export weaponry that had parts that was made in Switzerland. So, and Switzerland put sanctions on Russia. So there is no way this country ever again can say that they are neutral. They are not neutral, and everyone knows this. Everyone in this world knows this. This game is over. Switzerland is done, basically. And we will see, in coming years, we will see that wealth will start run away from Swiss banks. And this is just, they cannot do nothing now. It's too late. It's too late now. Just recently, like yesterday or day before, I did read some news about statements that Swiss politicians are making that, we are neutral and we will not allow the export of weapons and stuff. This is too late, man. They already did. And Swiss-made weapons are used to kill Russian citizens right now. So Swiss is done. And no respect for this country no more. That's my opinion. They play dirty and they should be punished. So I hope Chinese wealth will flee Swiss. I hope from Middle East, everyone from Middle East is seeing this picture very well, and they, I hope, will remove the assets from Swiss banks and from European banks in general, because they cannot be trusted. It's obvious they cannot be trusted. So yes, it's great news because they play dirty and they should be punished for this. So very well, man. No, I cannot feel sorry for some dirty Swiss bankers, man. So let's continue. And this is RBK News Agency is reporting that that's quite interesting. If you remember, recently I was talking about perspectives of dollar or risks that dollar may lose its position as a world's main currency, main reserve currency, and we have some information here about society's expectation in the worldwide, what they think, what will happen to dollar. And this is quite interesting that 47% of world community thinks that dollar will eventually fail in the next 20 to 25 years, which is huge number, isn't it? Which is huge number. And when it comes to countries, societies in which country has what opinion, number one is Indonesia. 64% of Indonesians think that dollar will lose its position as a main reserve currency in next 25 years. Next is Yemen, 61%, Syria and Afghanistan, 59%, Nigeria and Pakistan, 58%. In Russia, only 49% of society thinks that the dollar will lose its position as a main reserve currency in next 25 years. I think these 49% are mistaken, and dollar will definitely lose its position as a main foreign currency in next 10 to 15 years. It will not take 25 years, man. It will take maximum 10, 15 years. and it will happen gradually, and it is happening right now. Yesterday I did share information with you about Russian trade, for example, and dollar and euros are now less than half in Russian trade, foreign trade, and it was some 80 something percent, so like 2 years ago, for example. So it's a huge drop, isn't it? And this will continue. This will happen in other countries also. It's just inevitable because dollars have been used by US as a weapon, and of course, no one country, especially outside of Western world, will want to end up in situation when US is just taking all the wealth of that countries at one sign of US president in single day, in single hour. So of course dollar will eventually become just a paper that no one really wants or cares about, but it will take time. Not 25 years, but 10-15 years for sure. For sure. Let's continue. And I mean, if somehow, if some magic happens and US society will manage to introduce some new elites in the USA, some good elites, good people in the elites, then things may change very well, man. But I cannot imagine the deep state and all this ruling class, corrupt ruling class in the USA will allow society to play any critical role in the future of US. But yet again, I mean, let's see how it will develop. And this is gonna be last news for today. 47 minutes. No matter how hard I'm gonna try to, talk faster, and it's still too long, man. The videos, I mean, these updates, and I just don't have time to divide, like make one video and then another one. I just technically I'm not ready now to do this kind of stuff. So that's why I'm trying to share with you all the interesting news that I think are interesting in single video. So yes, this is gonna be last news for now. Of course, all of you are familiar with this information about protest that has taken place in France. But point is that French Senate, second floor of French Parliament, voted for this pension reform. And as I understand, it's official now. Macron will sign it, and that's it. And French government, despite these huge demonstrations and millions of French citizens that come out on the streets and demand from French government to pull out this law. Despite this, I mean, French elites just did not care about it, basically, and they will go on, they will implement this new pension reform. According to which pension age will rise from 62 to 64, and there are some nuances also. But as you can see, people were very much unhappy, but nothing worked, because that's what is happening when you don't have elites that are true elites that are from people and for people. Because French elites, they are criminals, basically. They are criminals, and they are working for globalists, isn't it? And they just don't care about ordinary lives of French citizens, not even for a second, man. I'm absolutely sure about this, and this is happening all around Europe. French is not some kind of exception. This is happening just everywhere in Europe. And we can probably say that US is experiencing similar story. Otherwise, how can you know, otherwise it's just impossible to understand what is going on when White House is spending some 140 billion for Ukraine, and they have no money. They have no money to provide society with clean water, man. Some cities, some settlements, and even cities, towns in the USA have no clean water. And this time, White House is spending 100 and something billion dollars for a most corrupt regime in the world, in Ukraine. Come on, man. So yes, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. This is gonna be last news for today's update. And if any some like huge developments, of course I will try to make another update today. But if not, then this is it for now. I hope you will find this video interesting, and if so, please hit that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like, and if you can, please share links to my videos on Telegram with your friends on Telegram, PayPal, what PayPal, man? Patreon. I'm done, man. I'm too tired, I need some rest. Telegram, yes, that's it, man. Telegram or Twitter, and yes, when it comes to PayPal and Patreon, you can support this channel through those platforms too. So yes, this is it. Sorry if my English was too bad. I'm truly getting to the point when exhaustion is playing its role. I do need some day or two to take off, but I cannot now. When we reach 10,000 subscribers, I may take day or two off, but not now. So yes, this is it for now. Have a nice day, and take care. See you soon.